Ever wonder what it's like to be 007? Now you know. Be Bond. Coming this fall to a game platform near you.
In October of 2000, EA released a video game of the most current James Bond adventure, 1999's The World Is Not Enough. There were 3 different versions released over the course of a year. A first-person shooter by Eurocom developed for the Nintendo 64, a first-person shooter for the PlayStation 1 by Black Ops Entertainment, the same studio behind Tomorrow Never Dies, and a third-person action-adventure game for the Game Boy Color, developed by 2N Productions. We'll mainly be talking about the Nintendo 64 version because my PS1 game won't work with my capture card and I don't understand it. But I can't show much of that game at all now. So we're gonna roll with it. I'll talk about it at the end, along with some of the Game Boy Color game, which I can't have a lot of that gameplay too because I don't have the materials to record that. So, this game doesn't start with a gun barrel sequence, so I'll just put it in.
Good afternoon, sir. Can I help you?
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Courier. Casually walk into the bank, you meet with Lachaise, the banker, but before you get to the meeting, you have to go to the safety deposit box that MI6 left for you so you can get your gun. You didn't... Bond didn't walk in with it? Okay.
I retrieved the money. No doubt Sir Robert will be pleased to see it again.
I didn't come just for the money. The report you sold King was stolen from an MI6 agent who was killed for it. I want to know who killed him.
I'm just a middleman. Take the money.
Your last chance. Give me a name.
It's all there.
I didn't come for the money. The report Sir Robert bought was stolen from an MI6 agent who was killed for it. I want to know who killed him.
Terrible tragedy.
I just want a name.
Get!
You seem to have had a small reversal of fortune. Give me the name.
I can't tell you.
Let's count to 3. You can do that, can't you? 1, 2.
Bond also walks right out of the building at the end. I do like it, it's very Bond-like, kind of like the printing press in Tomorrow Never Dies in the film before Bond got shot at, but it's not how he escapes in the film, and I prefer the film's escape. King's Ransom. Bond delivers the money, the cash explodes just like in the movie. But way before it does in the film.
Something's not right about all this. King, the money!
Here, it goes off and you play the scene like, remember the scene in Die Another Day where it was Bond clearing out MI6? Yeah, that's basically this. Maybe that was foreshadowing. Interesting. Bond's office is supposed to be here, but whatever. Anyway, you find King, he gives you some exposition.
Here, take this pin! It was the detonator!
And then he keels over. Q tells you to get to his lab, and they have this moment from the film.
Stop! Stop! It isn't finished! Stop! Stop! It isn't finished! Stop!
Thames Chase. Unlike the film, you're not in a boat. The boat crashes early, and Bond has to follow the assassin on foot. Along the way, you'll save hostages and clear the way of bad guys, basically. I like how simple this mission is. I know it's minor, but I actually genuinely have a lot of fun with this one. And you eventually arrive at a subway station.
Hold on, sir. This area is sealed off. We have a hostage situation.
I'm with MI6, let me through.
The woman you're chasing is in this station. A gunmen have seized the whole area, and they've got civilians hostage in there. Even worse, we've reports of some kind of bomb. The whole situation is a mess.
Keep your men at a safe distance. I'll handle this.
Yes, sir. You might need this.
Underground Uprising. I like this mission. It isn't in the film at all. So terrorists have taken hostages and have planted a bomb in the subway. You have 6 minutes. You have to rescue the hostages, disarm the bomb. Once you deal with the potty bomb, grapple up some stairs, jump onto the balloon just like in the movie.
Tell me who's behind this. I can protect you.
Not from him!
I can protect you! Do you understand? I can protect you!
Not from him!
This is where the opening credits would go, but they would 100% skip it and go right to the exposition about Renard and not feeling pain. But now he's after Elektra, so to the next mission you go. Cold reception. A quote from the film:
I came prepared for a cold reception.
when Bond and Elektra go and check the survey lines in the Alps. The two are jumped by masked terrorists. Bond walks on his skis and I giggled.
This isn't a social call. Head for the gully. I'll lead them away. Go! Go!
Bond is armed with his P2K and lots of ammo. You destroy oil pumps and kill the bad guys. Reach the helicopter at the end, and that's really it. I like this skiing more than the Tomorrow Never Dies segment, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. Mainly because Bond can use his guns.
Alexa, it's alright. You're safe now.
Night Watch. Stealth mission, no killing. But you can punch people. So you have infinite knockout ammo if you use your mitts. You place phone taps and get evidence that Elektra's head of security, named Davidov, is working with terrorists that tried to kill her. Stow away in the back of Davidov's truck. Midnight departure. Kill Davidov in any way you want. I shot him like any other bad guy in the game, but I was kind of bummed that they didn't have a boss fight or something along the lines of the film, but I'm okay with this for a video game. He had a little bit more ammo than the rest of the bad guys, and he just kind of looked like the rest of them, so it worked out. In the film, it's fun because you have that Bond-style surprise moment. But you board the plane just like the film, and you take off, telling everyone that you're Davidov's last-minute replacement.
Excellent.
Masquerade. Posing as both Davidov's replacement and Mikhail Arkov. You have to get past Dr. Christmas Jones and all the other Russians just to gain access to the underground base.
So if you need any protection at all, it's from me.
In the base, you find Renard, and you have a video game style exchange of what happens in the film.
A bullet instead of a plane.
You can't kill me. I'm already dead.
Not dead enough for me.
I should be grateful. You delivered the money, you killed King, and now you brought me the plane.
That bomb will never leave this place.
Neither will you.
So there's no I work for the British government or anything witty. And well, at least you get to push the cart like in the film, except the auto aim starts to betray me here. The cursor moved away from the target, it seemed. It aimed up, but not onto the target, and I had to like position Bond to shoot the target. But what can you do? Oh boy. I even shot the elevator like in the movie, and I smiled because I did that myself.
No hard feelings, Mr. Bond. We're even.
Soon you'll feel nothing at all.
No hard feelings, Mr. Bond. But we're even. Soon, you'll feel nothing at all.
So you're a British spy. Do you have a name?
Name's Bond. James Bond.
City of Walkways number 1. Now that you know Elektra and Renard are working together, you want more info out of Valentin Zukovsky. In the film, Bond speaks to him early on, which prompts his visit to the caviar factory later. But here there is no context in the 64 game. The PS1 game has context, but my capture card won't record it for some reason, so I'll talk about it at the end. But this is just to prompt you to get to the other side of the walkways to use your covert modem, remember that from GoldenEye? To get data from Valentin's computer. One of the objectives in this mission is to protect Valentin, but he holds his own in the movie, so I guess he isn't really a good ex-KGB agent. City of Walkways 2. Same shit, different mission. Except, this mission is really more of a checkpoint. It's relatively fun. I like this part in the movie more because it has better music. And in the movie, Bond kills a helicopter in such an improvised way, I love it. You can't tell me that they didn't think of the Bond theme here. It's one of my favorite parts in the film because of the music cue. Okay, side tangent. Caviar Factory is probably my favorite track in the entire film, along with the ending section of Bond Has Left the Building. Turncoat. Bond learns that Valentin's nephew is working for Elektra and Renard, and they have to reach Maiden's Tower in Istanbul. Bullion, Valentin's second-in-command, leaves the bomb in Valentin's briefing room, and you have to chase him down. You start unarmed, but you can detour and get a P2K right at the start. At this point, the P2K is pretty much useless, because it takes, I want to say, about half your magazine to put somebody down. Even if it doesn't look like they're wearing body armor, it takes forever to kill them. So you catch up with them, and Denise Richards followed you somehow, and Bond gets captured just like in the film.
Drop your gun, or the lovely doctor dies.
Zukovsky doesn't like to be double-crossed.
I've got a new boss now. Miss King would like to see you.
I could have given you the world.
The world is not enough.
All right, everyone. He said it. We can go home now. Gift bags at the door.
Fallen Angel. Elektra has Bond in the torture chair thing, and the 64 version of Valentin saving Bond, just kind of happens. This is where the game starts turning to bullshit. The mission seems to be like a gauntlet of bad controls. This is where looking up and down with the C buttons would have worked a lot better in this game instead of making jump and crouch the C buttons. Actually, this control scheme that I mentioned is a lot like GoldenEye. But I can't talk about that game. When you free him, you have to fight Gabor, and it's a really one-sided fight, because you can keep punching him and you can stun lock him. And I laughed at this game's rendition of Elektra's death. It's less dramatic, but way more funny.
You wouldn't kill me. You'd miss me.
I never miss.
Hello, James. Put the gun away. You wouldn't kill me. You'd miss me.
Mission accomplished. Good work.
A sinking feeling. Stealthily, board Renard's submarine. They want you to be stealthy, but whatever. They place civilians everywhere in this mission for almost no reason at all, because in the film, they're all very dead by now. You save the doctor, destroy the levers just like the film. Meltdown. I'll be totally honest with you guys, I almost just put my hands up, said fuck it, and didn't finish this mission for the footage. I had a lot more patience when I was younger and first played this game, but this mission is just straight trial and error. Unless you watch a walkthrough and you play it based on the walkthrough. Bad guys drop from the ceiling in the later parts, and it's infuriating because your P2K is basically a pea shooter at this point. It's useless. And you get the P90, but it takes forever to reload. The controls also got weird on me at this point, and I don't know what happened. I had to actually pause and unpause the game to choose my weapons. The A button wasn't working to change my guns. And I think something happened with my remote. Maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong. But you kill Renard, and you have Christmas in Turkey, and that's the game.
I've always wanted to have Christmas in Turkey.
There's multiplayer, but it's incredibly bare bones and pretty lacking in my opinion. It's empty, and it has ideas that could work in a future game, but nothing ever took off for me. When you play with friends or family, it's kind of the same thing. The maps are too big for this game. So after all is said and done, how is the game? I honestly think it's incredibly fun before you reach the walkway missions, then it just drags. When you reach Fallen Angel, it's a battle of will because of how much bullshit you have to deal with the controls. It doesn't get to a point where I was yelling like Tomorrow Never Dies, but I had a point where I was extremely frustrated. The controls sound great on paper, but the scheme the game set up for you, let's put it this way, you need to stand perfectly still to look up or down, and you need to do that incredibly slowly. This can lead to your death a few times when dealing with enemies on ledges, enemies under you, or helicopters with saw blades.
Lacks punch, don't you think?
I noticed that the noise that Bond makes when he gets shot is the same noise in the film when he gets slapped. The amount of weapons at your disposal in this game is actually amazing compared to the last game we discussed, even if a lot of the two-handed weapons have the same reload animation. The Wolfram P2K is the unlicensed replacement for the Walther P99 in the film. I do love this gun. Up until about the last line of missions, this was my go-to weapon. There will always be ammo available at all times, and it's a relatively fast rate of fire. After this becomes useless, I don't know which gun is your best choice. You get a handful of magnums to pick, you get automatics, large and small, a shotgun, a sniper rifle, grenade launcher, and a guided rocket launcher. I'd often try to find a gun to replace it early, just so I didn't get stuck with the P2K later on. I couldn't find anything like that. But also, maybe I stuck to the P2K for the immersion of Bond. Who knows? Why doesn't this game have the Bond theme, though? I keep thinking the title portion of the game is trying to recreate Garbage's title song, but there's no Bond theme in this game, anywhere. If I missed it, please let me know in the comments, but I didn't hear it at all, and there were many missed opportunities. What happened to EA wanting to change up the gameplay too? There's no driving levels or anything. There's one skiing mission and that's it. Maybe it was for the best though? I'd say the 64 version is more for fans of the film, which, you know, it's a no-brainer, it's a licensed game. But there aren't changes to the game for certain story elements. This game is all the action parts of the film with no break and a little exposition. It's possible the plot could be explained through these little briefings before each mission, but I didn't read them. Look how fast I went through them. The PS1 version has missions and segments that help the plot, like a mission in the casino where Bond and Valentin talk, and a mission on the pipeline when Elektra thinks Bond was killed in an explosion. Those scenes are totally absent from the 64 game. It's clunky, and uses the same control scheme as Tomorrow Never Dies, even though it's a first-person shooter, the PS1 game. It's for people who need a substitute for the film and PS1 game. The Game Boy game is an incredibly unforgiving and difficult game. Reminds me a lot of the Game Boy Color version of Metal Gear Solid, also known as The Ghost Babel. It seems that no matter which version you played, it's a lot more like the movie than the Tomorrow Never Dies game to the Tomorrow Never Dies movie. Instead of adding things to the story that weren't there before, like a convoy level and hunting a random terrorist between story segments, The World Is Not Enough builds on existing plot devices and scenes. A PlayStation 2 version was originally slated for release around late 2000, according to, well, this report.
Bond. James Bond.
From what I can tell, EA lost the license to the film and or the actors, because the game supposedly became Agent Under Fire, releasing on the PlayStation 2 about a week before the original Xbox and GameCube consoles even launched in 2001, with both consoles receiving ports in 2002. We'll be talking about Agent Under Fire next time. I will see all of you then.